Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Bhavana and I am an intuitive guide and a medium and also a wellness coach with the corporate areas. So today I wanted to tune in and share the energy report for the month of June. I know it's been, a bit uh, different in coming, and I was tuning into the different energies that are existing in June because June is a very interesting month for across the globe. There are different elements that are coming to play. So I'm just going to tune in and then we'll get started. Okay, so what's happening in June? Lots happening. Uh, you would be reading about different astrological uh, changes and astrological events that would be happening in June. But if I were to, when I read the energies are, there's a lot of uh, energy, and I would say that it's not a upheaval of energy. The way that I see it, it is a very positive energy. So if I were to relate it to our root chakra, the root chakra is signified by the color red. And when we look at the color red, sometimes we are drawn to the quality or the characteristic of the color red that we are drawn to is very fiery and very hot and ready to take action and perhaps also reactive. Then there is another element of red which is action oriented, and that action oriented is of movement, of making things happen and being in the now, being in the doing, being in the action. And that's what June is about. June is about a lot of action. So there, it's a very uh, it's a bit of a dichotomy that I am seeing. So there is a certain calmness, and the calmness that people would be feeling is a lot of countries across the world are coming partially out of lockdown, or they're easing the regulations, or they're easing how people can interact and whether the offices are operational and schools are operational across the world. So that's what's happening at different parts of the different continents. Now, when we look at that, so there will be, because people have also started to adapt to a different way of being, to also being able to, especially in countries where you have help, one has become more and more self-sustaining. People have understood how important it is to really look inwards, both in terms of wanting to work, doing chores around the house, as well as really being reflective. And the energies of March, April, May are kind of combining it all together. And in the month of June, we are those, some people would be feeling a certain calmness setting in from, and that calmness is coming from the inside work or internal work that they have done, or the spiritual work that they have done. The energy of June is also about action, so it is also about planning. So this is a time that you have been wanting to do certain things and you have not been able to make a plan, or there was confusion, or there was not certainty, or you were unsure of what you wanted to do. June is a very good time to do that. And what I mean by that is go inwards, do whatever it takes, maybe take somebody's help, because June is also a time where you continue to reach out to people and collaborate, look at collaborations, look at working together. It can be for a project or just helping each other out, and that's something. So that energy of May has been accentuated in June. So when you do that, you will be able to really chart out a plan for yourself for the next 6 months. And June is a good time to do that when you are entering into the next phase of the 6 months from July onwards. So June is, the way that I would call it is, it's like a bonus month that is being given to us, because we can plan as much, we can put put down details of how we want to do it. So if you have some of you who have been entrepreneurs or are wanting to become entrepreneurs, this is the time that you can decide it. This is the time that you can really go out there. A lot of people might tell you, to be practical, they might tell you that this is the worst time to really become an entrepreneur because you would not get any business. And I would differ, I would really beg to differ, because yes, there might be shutdowns, yes, there might be different businesses, big or small, laying off people or shutting down business, because it is not aligned to what the pure intention that is coming up over the next decade. So if you're an entrepreneur and your intention is to only work, make money, and your intention, you are not clear about the intention of what or how you're going to be helping people, it will not work. This time is a call for entrepreneurs, more and more entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, starting your own work or your own passion and making it reach out to people. People are there waiting to listen to you. People are there waiting to collaborate with you. So don't let, just because it seems to be a different time or difficult time, don't let that deter you, because June is the month that has been given for you to plan all of that out. Now, if I were to look at different countries specifically, I do see a lot of there would be ease of regulations that will continue to happen in India, and there would be it will still take time for schools, colleges to open up. I don't see that happening before 15th of July. There would be a easing off from, even more easing off from 15th June, and but this period between 15th June to about end July or early August is a trial period, or as I would like to call it, it's a trial period, because it is really for us to look at will we be able to sustain the dynamics and sustain what the self-regulation that we have got so used to, whether it is social distancing, whether it is wearing a mask, whether it is being more hygienic, being more safe, having home food, having fresh, nutritious food, having time to be with the family. All of that you started to do between March and May, it is important to sustain that. So if we have not really changed, I do see there are things that will start bubbling up again in sometime in September, and regulations might have to come back. So this time period, I would really urge whoever is listening to this video, this energy report in India, please work with people around you to make sure that there is a new way of thinking, there is a new way of action that we are being, which means that we are more sensitive to each other and to each other's world and life, and we are more respectful of each other irrespective of what background they come from. We are more aware of how our actions are being detrimental to the environment, which means each one of us has to be very sensible and sensitive to that. It doesn't matter if 10 people or 10,000 people are, each one of us has to be sensitive to that. So we have to learn the new way of being in the new world. Otherwise, these regulations will keep come off and on, because the cases will keep increasing off and on. There'll be a dip, and then again there'll be a shoot up of cases. And that's the reason why I'm saying, people in India, if you are here and you're listening to this, please make sure that you also spread the new way of being, and the more being more in one with nature, and our actions have to be as a collective, and not I have the money, or I have this, and I have enough, and it is okay, right? I do see that in the US there would be other issues that would be bubbling up. We have heard some recent news and recent protests. There would be different kinds of protests emerging, especially again in the California region, in the West Coast. I do see a lot of protests, aggression coming up against the government, and things that will need a call of action from the government and the government agencies. So it is I do see this tumultuous time to continue in the US till about early September, and unless there is concrete action that is taken, it is not going to go away. Again, unless people really learn and behave in the new way, which is behave with, keeping the collective in mind, these things will continue to go worse, whether it is the number of cases or something else. So it is very important that one is actually seeing the change and making the change happen in the US. So those are for the US folks. I and in If I were to look at East Asia, and I were to look at Australasia, or the Australia subcontinent, I do see that there's a major positive sign. It's already there's a lot of ease of regulations and restrictions that have happened, and that will continue to happen. And the eastern part actually would be able to recover more easily, and there's a shift of spiritual energy that I see happening around Australia, specifically, and Southeast Asia. There is a major shift of energy around Japan, around some parts of Indonesia, but there would be some resistance around Malaysia and Indonesia. So that resistance against that change, or the spiritual change, will take time, but it'll happen. So there's a major spiritual and energy shift that is taking place. It's as if the energy shift that we need to move into to 2025, that's starting from the east and the eastern part, and it's slowly going to start moving towards the rest of Asia, and then India, and then Middle East, and so on and so forth. So that's what I'm seeing for the month of June. My top 3 or 4 pointers for the month of June, if I were to talk about that, in summary, one, make the most of this extra time that has been given to you, which means whether it is in terms of your work, in terms of your health, whether it is in terms of the courses that you wanted to do, make the best use of this time. This is the best time for you to make those plans. Second, the world has changed completely. Do not let anybody tell you otherwise. The more that you start behaving differently, behaving the way that you have been feeling, those of you who have felt that change, faster it'll help others to feel that change. So if one of you might be in the forefront of taking that different action and not being the older version of yourself, do that, because that is going to give the courage for others to do it as well. The third thing is, remember what we learned during the lockdown period, which is the family is an integral part. Spending time with family is an important component of each of our lives. Having having nutritious food, having fresh food, having simple cooked food, not complicated carbs, fats, etc., that is not going to help. So look at your diet and look at how you can continue to take the lessons of the lockdown for the rest of your life. So those would be my top 3 points, which is plan, make the best use of your time. Second, remember the lessons that you have learned during the lockdown. Don't let that go waste. Make that into action. And the third one is, of course, looking at being part of the change that we are already in the middle of. So that was the June energy update, and thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. As you might already know, we are on Instagram and Facebook, and the YouTube channel, of course, all under the name of Tarotting by Bhawana. So you can follow us, subscribe to the channel wherever you wish. If there are some questions that you have in mind, do put them in the comments below, and I will come back and answer them. So thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful month of June. Bye bye.